if you keep these things in mind, because this is the hardest part, because basically what you're doing is you are going against the power of the subconscious mind, which, like I said, is really, really strong. The first thing is that it's always better to do something different badly than it is to stay in the pattern. Don't be afraid of doing something different badly. If you don't yet know how to set a boundary in a graceful, healthy way, it's still better to hold a boundary or to set a boundary or to communicate a boundary ungracefully or poorly or maybe the first time you set a boundary, you do it in a really harsh way. That's better than not speaking on the boundary, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. So you're going to feel uncomfortable. So your brain is going to try to talk you out of your progress. It is your psyche screaming at you to do anything to go back to how it was before. It will make you start to second guess yourself. It will make you feel guilty. You might start, it shows up as guilt. It starts as like, is this really right? Maybe I'm doing it wrong, right? But this is part of progress. If you aren't second guessing yourself, if you are not feeling a little bit uncomfortable, you're not progressing, right? Because the only way that you can grow is to leave your comfort zone. And then part of this notion of discomfort as you grow and expand is that even positive changes can cause grief, right? So letting go of what no longer serves you can still be really painful, even if it's in service of positive changes. Grief is moving away from something that your psyche is still attached to, even if it's no longer in your best interest. Just remember that. Like, even when you break up with a really toxic relationship and now you're falling in love and you're in a new relationship, that can even bring up grief, because it's like, well, now I'm moving into this new relationship. I'm moving farther away from this other part of my life, and there's sadness, and people get confused by that. Like, but I'm in love with this new person. Why am I feeling sad about this? It's just another level of grief. It's another level of moving away from the thing that part of your psyche was attached to, but it's just part of your psyche. So using that language of like, part of me feels, part of me doesn't want this, part of me finds this painful, that can allow you to live with sort of what feels like a duality. Two things can be true at the same time because of this disconnect between the conscious and the subconscious mind. And then the fourth thing that you have to keep in mind as you engage in pattern interrupt is that you're going to need faith. And that goes back to the thing that I was talking to earlier, which is that our brains really want that certainty. And in a very mechanistic worldview, we believe that unless we know what's coming next and we have that predictability, that it's not a wise decision to step out of the known. Unless I know what it's going to be replaced with, then there's no point in doing that.